Hey everyone, this is Larry Everett with Hyperspace Beacon, and you are watching the Sci-Fi MMO show. We are recording this live, although you're not actually watching it live. So, but what that means is that this is off the cuff. We're just speaking our mind. We're not going to edit this really. We're just going to record it and then send it up to the internet, and it's all yours. And before I get into today's news, I do want to introduce my friend. His name is Kyle Maxwell. Hello.
Hello, Internet.
And he is an enthusiast, a gaming enthusiast, especially regarding like flight sims and those kinds of games that have kind of are really popular right now with like Elite Dangerous. But he also plays Star Wars: The Old Republic. And
I do.
Yes, and EVE Online, amongst like a plethora of other games as well. And we brought him here today to talk to him about some of the stuff that is coming out, especially some of the stuff that we saw come out of E3, and also some of the stuff with Star Wars: The Old Republic that just came out. We just had a new event, so we're going to. In fact, speaking of that, I think that's kind of the first thing that we should talk about is our Star Wars: The Old Republic event. We just had actually, sorry, before we get into that, let me show a video of our this is the latest video that came out of Star Wars: The Old Republic. It is the Coruscant Skyrise. And what we have here, I'm gonna, since we can't, it's like really quick video. This is like one of the quickest videos I think they have ever put out. And so how much are you looking forward to the whole Strongholds thing in general? Is that something that is the first thing on your mind?
I'm really excited. The Coruscant one, you know, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna have one particularly for like my Jedi characters that really don't belong on Nar Shaddaa too much.
Right.
Yeah. But overall, I'm a little bit nervous about it, and I'm nervous because I haven't seen yet if there's gonna be any game functionality to it besides just, you know, decoration and whatnot. So. My concern is that it's going to be like cool for the first week, and then there's not going to be really any reason to go there other than like RP, which is good, but that's not enough. I think for a major game system like that to be successful, it needs to balance a couple of different play styles. So I'm hoping that it's got some game functionality. I'm not sure what. Maybe some bonuses to crafting, maybe. You can get some special buff. I don't know. I know that you WildStar players have something where your housing has some game mechanics associated with it, and I've kind of hope we get something like that. But overall, I am excited. I think it's going to look good. It's going to be better than just, you know, these nomads living on our ships across the galaxy. And in fact, I've been spending more time on Nar Shaddaa, probably for the event that we'll talk about in a minute, but partly for, you know, kind of getting used to the planet again, because it's always been one of my favorites in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I'm with you as far as liking Nar Shaddaa. Nar Shaddaa is definitely one of my favorite planets as well. And I want to show a still here from the video. This is well, this way. Sorry, this way. It's the garage, and it looks like you're going to be able to put obviously multiple different vehicles in here. One of the things that we have one of our guildies has like probably every vehicle you could possibly have. He has Jarek has.
Does he have the gearhead achievement?
Does he have the gearhead? I don't know. I have to ask him about that. I'm not sure. I know that he has nearly every single vehicle. I know that he doesn't necessarily have them all on our server because he transferred, and there were some of them that were per character only, and he hasn't transferred those characters over. But he does have nearly every vehicle, and this I know excites him that he'll be able to show off all of his vehicles. I have a few vehicles that I want to show off there too. I also have my Rancor mount, but we'll get into that a little bit later, that I want to show off in the garage as well. But I think that that's really cool. And there's another one I'm going to fast forward through here that I think is interesting. Where did it go? It's right. Come on. There it is, right there. This, oh, not that one. A little bit further.
Droids?
There. These droids. Mini pets. So you're going to be able to place your mini pets throughout your house too. They'd already kind of said this already, right? They kind of said that, oh, you're going to be able to have your mini pets, but this really nails it down and confirms it. Hey, look, then this is what it's going to look like, and it kind of now to you, I'm going to ask: does it look like you're going to be able to pick these up and put them anywhere you'd like, or do you think it's going to be a set? Like you're going to have to put these right here. This is the only place.
I don't know. I haven't gone through the videos to the level of detail that you have with your dissections. Although I watch them and I think that you've missed a few things. But in this case, I certainly hope so, because like for, let's say, my Cybertech crafter on whom I have a ton of pet droids, I like to put them everywhere, just like running around. Like he's not the crazy cat lady, he's the crazy droid man.
Right. Yeah, unlike the garage kind of look like you have to put the vehicles in specific places. Yeah,
but it makes sense there.
Yeah, this one. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, it makes sense that you've got, like, if you will, parking spaces or what have you, bays for your different vehicles where they have to go, like it would be in a garage. My droids. When I was in Galaxies and I had a droid engineer shop that I decorated a lot and was, at least mildly popular on our server, I liked having droids looking like they were doing different things. And I'm unclear. I think we're all unclear right now on how much customization we'll have in terms of placement of stuff. There's some indications that we'll have some. Will it be as much as we want? We don't know yet, or somebody knows, but it's not us.
Yeah, exactly.
So my hope is that we can do those sorts of things so that in the garages and in the workshops and in the conference rooms, we can have these different things sitting around. The other thing is, I wanted to go back in the Coruscant video. There's the one with the statue where you said you don't know what that is. And to me, that looks like a bunch of the statues that we've seen on Makeb.
Yeah.
I'm almost 90% sure.
Yeah, and I'd actually thought about that. I think I mentioned that in the video. Maybe I didn't. But but the thing is, and here it is. Here's the picture of this, so you guys can see what we're talking about. You're right about the that. I do recognize it from Makeb, but the thing is, everything else that's in this room is from an operation.
Golden Fury is an operation.
Maybe you might be right. Maybe you do get this. Maybe you do get this from the Golden Fury, but I would have thought you would have got like an ISO 5 droid or something along that line. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, I recognize some of the other things that are there. As somebody who's not heavy into raiding, I go with our guild occasionally for a fill-in when I'm at home and not out drinking and coincides. And I used to, do more active raiding, but I never really cared about progression raiding. I just kind of found myself doing it. So, and honestly, you may know more about this. I've heard a couple of different things. Are we going to automatically get decorations for operations that we've done, or we need to go back and do like the old classic ops? Right.
From my understanding, and I'm going to put this picture back up so we can see some of the things that we're talking about here. There are now. I definitely know you will get credit for the specific operations that you've already done because you have the achievements for it, and so it'll register those. And if there is any decorations that come with having it that come with the achievement of having completed whatever operation that happens to be, for instance, maybe you see right here in this on this screen, you can see that Karaga. You have a picture of Karaga there. Maybe having defeated Karaga, you get that picture there. So it's possible that'll happen. However, if there is a specific drop from a specific boss, I'm thinking that we're not going to get those. That we will have to go back and complete that boss again. Achievements, yes. Specific drops, I think we're going to have to do it again.
Well, and for me, that's good because I didn't start raiding until after Hut Cartel. So I don't have any of the old achievements. You know, I think I ran through Eternity Vault once. I don't even think we finished. I think we wiped.
Wow. We were really bad.
I'll have to check and see if I even have the... Check
have SOA...
Right.
Have the SOA achievement? Yeah.
But in general, I know I've never done Karaga's, for example.
Yeah.
I know I've never done. I don't think I've done Explosive Conflict. I have done Eternity Vault.
He's in game right now, checking his achievements.
I am.
That's how dedicated he is to this. He wants to make sure everything is perfect. So he's in.
I also had to gamble.
That's right. Oh, he's all right. But
We'll get to that in a minute. But so as far as the core, what I'm nervous about, honestly, is so we're going to have the 4 locations for strongholds, right?
Okay.
The original 3 that they announced. They've got Coruscant, Drome and Koch as the capital worlds, Nar Shaddaa, and then the Tatooine homestead because of the delay.
Right.
My fear is that only I shouldn't say fear, but my thought is that the Nar Shaddaa one is going to be by far the most popular. The other 2, and we haven't seen DK yet, are going to be And, you know, a lot of it's going to depend on if we have reasons and abilities to stay on those planets. Like right now, it's tough to stay on Nar Shaddaa all the time if you do other content because you don't have like all the vendors and mission terminals and everything. So if those in some way are in our, for example, Coruscant strongholds, then I think it's going to give us a lot more reason to stay back on the capital world.
Yeah. Now to be clear though, my understanding of the situation with the houses, that you're going to be able to at any point at any time be able to instantly travel to your house no matter what planet you're on at all. And one of the things that I'm not real clear on is, are you going to be able to, let's say you port immediately to your Nar Shaddaa house, are you going to be able to then step out of your house and go into Nar Shaddaa proper from there, just like you would, or if you go to your Coruscant house, are you going to be able to step out of that house and go to Coruscant, or are you going to have to return to, let's say, your place of origin or whatever that happens to be? That's one of the questions that we don't really have an answer to yet, and I hope we get an answer to kind of soon. That would be an interesting. I don't know if that's high priority, but it's something that I'm very, very interested in knowing. Now? Just one real quick question before we move on to our the event here. Is there anything that you've seen that you or maybe that you haven't seen that you're really kind of hoping for or looking forward to as far as housing is concerned?
No, my main concern is whether or not there's some mechanical reason to be there. My hope is that there is. My hope is that we get something so that it's more than just a place to go log out and more than just a place for the ERP community to hang out. I'm confident. I mean, knowing as we do the folks at BioWare, I'm confident that they want that as well. It's just, kind of remains to be seen if that happens. Yeah. I mean, it would be cool if remember in the old Galaxies days, right? You had your different crafting stations that could give you different bonuses to your crafting if you were in range of them. And you could use the public terminals for some things, but they weren't as good. And you could use the private terminals for more things, and then you could get them at different quality levels. Tor does not have the same crafting model as Galaxies. I don't expect.
I don't think any of them. I don't think any game does. Yeah.
but my point just being that I'm
Yeah.
hoping that there's some reason, like the garrisons in WoW or the houses in WildStar, that there's something useful there. Not to mention, we still haven't heard just about anything about the guild ships.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, moving on to staying within Tor, though, I do want to talk about the event really quickly. I mean, honestly, I've talked about the event quite a bit already, and we've talked about it on this show and other shows and stuff. But it did go live on Tuesday, and I have to ask, how long did it take you to get all the achievements?
I don't have the Rancor yet. I have all the other achievements. Tab. Gamble. Okay.
Yeah, right at this moment, he's playing. He can't.
I need that Rancor.
That's right. You need that Rancor.
The thing is, so it turns out to be much like real slot machines.
Yep.
It's incredibly simple and yet oddly addictive. I have a few thoughts. One is that so first of all, the sound. I don't know how much time you've ever spent in a Las Vegas casino.
I personally have not spent actually any time in a Las Vegas casino. No.
I've spent. I don't really gamble, but I do like Las Vegas.
Right.
And when you stay at a hotel, you can hear the ring a ding 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 in your head for months after you come back home. And so, even though this doesn't sound like mechanical bells, it kind of has the feel to me of the sound does of a casino, and they really got that right actually. The visual effects on the slot machines themselves are a little more subtle than I would like.
Yeah.
They're there. You can actually watch the gameplay because it's not just randomly. Well, it is randomly, but not in the sense that most people are thinking of that. When you hit the button to play, and the almost half circle spins around, and the internal spinner, that's actually showing you what your result is going to be, and then there's a smaller internal sweet spot triangle. So as far as those go, that's okay. The prizes to me leave a little bit to be desired, but that's mostly because the Kingpin set looks a lot like the Star Forager set, which I already have.
Right. Yeah.
Plus a cape, which I don't care about. I'm not Lando.
No capes.
No capes. Well, I don't know. Capes have their place, but I don't care for them personally. So anyway, the weapons are cool. I have both of the vehicles. I don't actually care that much about creature mounts.
Yeah.
But the Rancor one, I just kind of want to have mostly because I want the achievement and it's doable for me.
Okay, so before I answer this question for myself, how much have you spent so far on?
I tried a couple of different ways. So first of all, I'm not space poor like you are. So it's not as big of a deal for me. I tried just using smuggler tokens just to get the buff, and then otherwise buying Kingpin tokens. I spent about 6 million or so on that.
Oh my God.
And that was okay. Look, Larry, I was well over 50 million before the event.
That's crazy. That's still crazy to me. But go okay. So 6 million on tokens
because otherwise, how am I going to afford the ERP on Nar Shaddaa when the strongholds come out? Something is ringing here.
So
that out. So my thought is that I have spent about 6 million. It is actually not the best. The way that you laid out is a better way to go.
Yeah.
I think that people, who are like, oh, I spent all this money, you're just clicking on stuff. So it's a good way to kind of be chatting with friends while you're not. So all the time that
or doing an internet show. You could be doing an internet show while.
Good.
Yeah.
So I got to stay in the mindset. So the thing is that you don't need to spend a lot in order to get most of the stuff. Well, okay, a lot. It depends. I see people saying, oh my God, I've blown all my money. How much do you have? 800K. Look, if all you have is 800K,
you should not be. Yeah.
You're space poor.
Yeah. I have more than 800K, and I'm space poor, really, when it comes down to it.
We have a guildie who's well past 200 million.
Yep.
And so, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not space poor, but I'm only space middle class. You're space working poor.
Yeah, I'm working poor. So I'll what I did, and I think that this is the best advice for just about anybody. I know that I mean I consider you in a good place financially as far as the game is concerned if you have a couple of million, but you don't want to go below that couple of million on this game. You really don't, or this part of the game. And what I was able to do, and I don't think that, now bear in mind, I don't think that everybody is going to be able to do this. In fact, statistically, the median. Am I using the term right? Kyle is
median.
Yeah, the mean of
Okay.
of so the mean is 4 million credits. Yeah, like on average, that's what it's going to cost you, is 4 million credits to get the Rancor. All right, that's what statistically that's what it would cost you. And now, granted, you could get it because it's the same. You have the same chances every single time you do it, so it could take you, it could take you 1,000 credits.
I saw your analysis. I thought it was a little naive.
Well, no,
but it's not too far off. I don't think.
They basically it was based off of how much the coins cost, and then the percentage chance of. I didn't make it up. This was actually, it was SWTOR Miner that made it up. That wasn't me. His based on
backpedal.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm a journalist. I blame everything on everybody else anyway. Because I blame it on my sources. That's what I do. I just parrot whatever my sources tell me, and then I can blame them and not myself. So there you go. Anyway, it was based off of his statistics, and based off of his statistics, it had been about 4 million credits to get the Rancor. But I'll tell you, if you go and buy just the smugglers tokens, spend the smugglers tokens on and to get the buff and get the kingpin tokens and that sort of thing, I was able to get everything. Now, I am extremely lucky, and I know most people are not going to be in this situation. I was able to do it for 400K.
Do you have the hidden achievement?
Yeah.
The blown up one. Okay.
I have everything. Yeah, all the actually the third or fourth machine that I put a coin into blew up. So I got it like immediately. So I got that one. Yeah, that one happened immediately. I got the Vector the first time I went through. So what I did is I gathered up a whole bunch of I got 99 smugglers tokens, spent all of those, then got like 50 more so I could keep the buff going. And I got the buff, and my first time that I went to the kingpin slots, which was only like let's say about 110 coins in tops, smuggler coins in tops. I went to the kingpin, and I got the Vector Magnus, and then I got the Rancor my second time through to the kingpin. I had like one token left, and my smuggler buff had run out, so I was like, and then I went to the smuggler things and spent a few more coins and got the smuggler thing again. And what I was going to do is just buy some more smuggler coins, is what I was going to do. But I'm like, let me try the kingpin on that one coin, and that's when the Rancor dropped on me. And what actually took me the longest was getting the achievement for the Opus, for the Vector Opus, because I had to earn I had to actually eventually get the golden certificates.
All the 15 certificates. Yeah. How many certificates do you still have?
I close to 15. I think I spent 3. Because what I was able to do now, I don't know if you can do this anymore because they might have fixed it in the last patch. But what I was able to do is I was able to buy the Opus.
Oh yeah,
and then I would get the achievement and then sell the Opus back. I never actually use the Opus because I think it's ugly.
The colors on it aren't the best.
Yeah,
to be fair,
that's really what it boils down to. The colors are horrible. And since we are taking a lot more time on this than I wanted to, I do want to move on to the next piece of business that we have here. And at E3, Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen both showed off their game. Elite Dangerous actually put out a trailer, and I'm going to show this trailer as we talk about it really quickly. Let me show the video. Here we go. And this is the Elite Dangerous E3 trailer, and I'm showing this mostly to show you the difference between the different games, because that's in-game footage that you're looking at. Well, it's in-engine footage, I should say, not necessarily in-game, which is slightly different here. And there we go. Wow, that transition was horrible on my end. Sorry about that. So Elite Dangerous, it is an MMO, unlike Star Citizen, which kind of like toes the line. You know, some people say it's an MMO, some people don't. I don't know where I set with it. Frankly, I don't really care. Although it's kind of my job to put labels on things, so I'm gonna call it an MMO. There you go.
Right on.
So, at any rate, but with Elite Dangerous it's definitely an open world. There's all sorts of places you can go. It's more similar to like what Eve is, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it's more similar to what Eve is, but with a starfighter, simulator kind of thing versus what Eve has, which is more of a traditional MMO kind of click and abilities kind of thing.
That's not accidental. I mean,
yeah,
there was a period of time in which one of the old Elite developers, the original ones, I don't know, I don't remember the names. I don't remember if it's somebody who's involved with Elite Dangerous or not, actually griped that EVE Online was basically just a remake of Elite,
yep,
into an MMO. And clearly there's a lot of inspiration there. Of course, now Eve also has its Starfighter sim coming out, in
right,
Eve Valkyrie, which is fantastic news on my end. So no, I'm really, really excited for all 3 of these, and I certainly think that at the moment, Elite Dangerous has the most actual, like, is the closest to having something that's cool and working and all of that. That's not to say we'll always stay that way. I don't, you're going to get a bunch of angry Star Citizen
right
comments. But right now, Star Citizen has less going for it than Elite does in terms of actual produced code and ability and all of that.
It seems further along, right? I mean, definitely Eve.
Elite seems further along than Star Citizen does, and we'll talk about
now. I know. Well, okay. So, let's talk about one of the things that's coming out of E3 is David Braben, or Braben. I think it's Braben is how you say his name. He's the CEO of Frontier Development, who is making. They are the guys that are making Elite Dangerous. Frontier, I believe, made all the Elite stuff, right? If I'm not mistaken, and so at any rate, they are doing they're following in the footsteps of Minecraft and Kerbal Space Program and Kerbal, 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 however you say that. Space Program. I speak good. I speak good English, and also in the footsteps of Landmark as well. That they are Elite's selling you alpha access, pretty much, and that's what Minecraft did. That's what Kerbal did. That's what Landmark is doing, and I'm pretty sure that EQ Next is going to do something very similar. But what they are kind of, let's say, getting flack about. In fact, that's kind of what David Braben was talking about when he gave an interview to Polygon, was that he was getting flack about the $150 alpha when it's not a complete game. You're buying access to an incomplete game, where is Minecraft kind of went the other way. They started low and then went higher as the game got closer to launch. So my question, I guess, is what are your thoughts on this type of thing? Do you think, first off, what are your thoughts on paying for alpha in the first place? And then if you're going to pay for alpha, do you start high or do you start low? What are your thoughts? And then I'll get to what David Braben's thoughts are as well. But what are your thoughts, Kyle, first?
So first, I have to note that I was a relatively early adopter for Minecraft, for Kerbal as well. Less so on Kerbal. No, actually, I take it back. It's just that I bought it really early and they didn't play it for a long time. And another game from Double Fine Productions that does that, called Space Base DF9.
Yeah.
And for small little indie studios like that, and I guess Frontier is kind of in the same boat. SOE is not. I don't mind that, because for a small business, as you and I both know from real life,
Yes.
cash flow is king, right? And it's what kills more small businesses than almost anything else. The other thing is, I like the model that, for example, Minecraft did, where the earlier you bought in, the cheaper it was, because you were getting less, so they didn't charge you as much. But they were upfront about that. Like, okay, the final price of the game is going to be this much. You're going to pay this much if you buy in now, and this much if you buy in 6 months from now, and so forth, so that you were incentivized to try to, sponsor it early. The other thing is what you were paying for something that at least you could download and run right away. It wasn't complete, it wasn't finished, but there was a game there.
Right.
That was always the case. With some of these other games, like Elite Dangerous and like Star Citizen, you're paying, oh my God, amounts of money for something that doesn't exist yet. And you may have all the confidence in the world that it will come, and that's great. But the reality is, when people were buying into the Star Citizen Kickstarter and so forth, there was nothing at that time they could download. Now there's a few modules here and there. In general, I don't like paying for alpha. I don't like paying for alpha access to a game like, let's say, Landmark, that is eventually going to be free.
Yeah.
I understand this will be free to freemium and all of that,
right.
But it's just me personally. I can afford it. I just choose not to, particularly for large studios like SOE, and whereas Robert Space Industries and Citizen Imperium and those guys or Cloud Imperium rather, are pretty large and successful now. They're still indie and they're large because of the funding that they've got. So I mean, I want to root for them because I like to root for the little guy.
But how about you're getting access before anybody else. You get to see the creative process. Well, even yes now. But I mean, well, that's what Elite is offering. Elite is offering, get into you able to get into alpha. You're getting to be a part of the creative process. You get to access to the forums. You get to theoretically, interact with the devs and have direct input on what the game's ultimately going to be. Is that enough to incentivize? Is that, I mean, not necessarily are you going to buy it? I'm not asking. I mean, maybe you will, but I mean, you think that is kind of worth the cost? Is that something that?
Well, I think that utility is going to, vary by person, right?
Yep.
So some players can't afford it anyway, and that's kind of the way life is.
Right.
Yeah. Some people won't blink at it, and that's the way life is for that, small percentage as well. For those of us at various points in the spectrum in the middle, for me, it's kind of the principle. My view is this: if it's a small really small indie studio, and I can pay money now to kind of help get them going, and I believe in the vision, and it's something that I can at least get a playable alpha. It may be all kinds of buggy and everything, and a lot of, and certainly not even feature complete. I don't mind. So I'm kind of, so with the Minecraft and Kerbal Space Program model, I was really happy to give them money because I like what they were doing in many ways. On the other end, you have SOE, and man, screw them as far as that part of it goes. And then you have these guys in the middle who kind of started out really small. They've blown up because of crowdfunding, and that's great. I personally want to see a little bit more from them before I decide which to give money to, because my thought since the beginning, as far as Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, and Valkyrie, those three, because they're all kind of in the same niche, as you will, if you will, I want them all to kick ass. I want them all to compete against each other and have to say, oh man, look, the other one did this. We've got to figure out a way to be better than that. And I think we've kind of seen that already with Elite and Star Citizen, where Star Citizen's like, yeah, we're going to have a dogfighting module. And Elite Dangerous says, here's our dogfighting. And Star Citizen says, oh, we may need to work a few more months on ours. That's great. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be doing that. That's what competition will bring for us. And I want them all to do really well and last a long time, so that whatever your preferred type is, that it's there for you and works, and the others have to catch up to it.
Yeah, what Braben said, he said this to Polygon. I'm going to read this here real quick. He said that alpha backers have been absolutely brilliant, are very supportive of us, and for getting the game together. They all align with us. We want this game. We all want this game to be made really well. If you look at the traffic on the design discussion forums, it is brilliant. It is really helpful, but it is also great fun. One of the things that I think raising the price, like making the alpha more expensive than later iterations of the game, what that does is, I mean, it's kind of the capitalistic kind of thing. You are more invested in what you're doing and what this is going to, what is going to do. Kind of what Braven is hinting at here. It is getting people that are really, really interested in the game into the game first, and they are going to have the most influence in the game. They are going to have the most information and most feedback, and they're really, because they are very invested, they're going to ultimately, or hopefully, make the game better than somebody that is just, I'll throw $10 at it. You know, that's kind of my initial thoughts. However, that being said, personally, I'm not the person to pay for beta. I just don't like that idea. But I do get what you're saying. I do, but I mean, so to what Kyle was saying earlier about supporting them, that's kind of what I see happening with Elite Dangerous. Again, though, like in the same vein, what Kyle was saying with Landmark and those kinds of things, yeah, I'm not too into that. I'm not going to... I feel like they're a big company. They have publisher and backer and all that kind of stuff. They should already have that money. If they don't have it from their publishers, well, maybe it should be pushed off to an indie studio or something like that.
Yeah, because SOE, for example, is part of a publicly traded company. They can tap into all the capital markets that humanity has to offer.
Yes.
And Elite and Star Citizen, because of their histories, already had a lot of name recognition. People be like, oh, Chris Roberts, I know who that is. Elite, man, if you know anything about space gaming, even if you never played it, then you're like, oh, no, I know who that is. Wow, that's the same team. We know they have a great vision, and we know that they can deliver on some things. Versus your Kerbals and your Minecrafts that were, fairly unknown prior to that. So yeah, in those cases, they need to access different sorts of capital, and that's folks like us.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. This was shown at E3. I'm gonna play the audio because the audio is mostly a bunch of cheering from the audience. But this is this is Star Citizen. It's really dark for some reason. Maybe space, but anyway, it's from Star Citizen. This is their dogfighting module that Chris Roberts was showing off at E3, and I'm just going to have this play in the background as we talk a little bit about some of the things that Chris Roberts said at E3. He said he was talking to Polygon when he was talking about how they're going about funding Star Citizen. As probably everybody knows, anybody that pays any attention to sci-fi MMOs knows that they went to Kickstarter. They had what are they up to now? They're up to 46 million. 46 million. Yeah, I'm looking right. Yeah, 46 million on their Kickstarter, and Kickstarter. Sorry, 46 million funded.
Right, because they eventually grew past
Kickstarter. They
started out there.
They're long past it now. And one of the but how they're going about funding anything that's in the future for the game is kind of interesting. I'm not necessarily sold on it, but I think it's definitely an interesting idea. Is that anytime they want to do something new, it's like they go ask for money for it. Hey, you want an expansion in space? Well, and that has dynamic content. Then all right, let's see if people want to do that, and they throw it out to their not Kickstarter necessarily, but to their funders and say, hey, what do you think about this? And Roberts was talking to Polygon, and he said that the team compares it to the success of raising money as leveling up. That's what they compared it to. I'm paraphrasing here, or Polygon was paraphrasing. And he said, like, for instance, they continued to post updates because backers specifically requested them, and that's sort of a game for their team. That was Polygon paraphrasing. So it's kind of turned into a game for them. The raising money, they come up with ideas, they throw it to the backers, and they say, and if it doesn't, I guess has anything not succeeded yet? I'm trying to think with them. Was there anything that was thrown out?
It's not that they do it on a case by case, because they've clarified since then that they'll say, hey, if we get to this level, we're going to do this extra thing. They've kind of taken stretch goals to a new. They've kind of iterated on the concept of stretch goals.
Right.
But the reality is they're just essentially, and Mr. Roberts has been clear about this, asking for additional funding, because the more funding they have, the more cool things they can do. But it's not purely, okay, for this will cost us $1 million. We're going to go specifically fund this feature. That said, apparently I'm not sure the details, but there have been some things where the feedback has caused them to reevaluate, maybe not whether they're going to do a thing, but how they're going to go about it and what it's going to be, how it's going to fit into their overall design. And I think that's for the best. And I think that in general, that's what gamer reaction should be. It's less, let us as gamers tell you what you should put in, and more, hey, we're thinking about doing this. What are your thoughts and concerns as the player base about it? And then they go back and evaluate that and decide how to iterate. Because, I mean, let's face it, even though you and I have both been playing games for decades now, we're still kind of armchair game designers, and there are going to be things that if the first design of anything is not necessarily going to be the best, and that's as true for the game designers as it is for you and I. So if we go and say, oh no, you should do it this way, that very well may suck. Yeah. But they can kind of look for what people are really saying and what they really want, and hopefully produce something valuable and worthwhile.
Yeah, I agree. I think I do kind of like. I do kind of like the way that they're doing it, and like you said, we are just armchair game designers. We're not in the trenches. We don't. We're not there day to day. We don't know what it financially or physically will take to complete anything as far as the games are concerned. And I do think that that's definitely but also this kind of thing kind of shows what people are looking for and what they're willing, let's quite frankly, pay for. When it comes down to it, and so there you go. That's pretty much it. As far as news for this week in sci-fi MMOs, we did, but dude, I mean, massively for one, covered a lot. They were in there. MJ was there talking with people on the floor about different things. Go check out Massively. They have some good coverage as far as sci-fi MMOs are concerned. And before we close out this show today, I do want to ask the question that I asked on Monday, which I'm going to throw this to Kyle, and then I'll kind of give my thoughts on it as well. I asked how big of an impact do you think WildStar will have on Star Wars: The Old Republic? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that the people who were already dissatisfied with Tor for whatever reason, some legitimate, some not, doesn't matter. People like what they like.
Mm-hmm.
This gives them a place to go. If you are a hardcore raider and you're unhappy with SWTOR rating, go to WildStar, have fun, whatever. I mean, I want my fellow gamers to have fun, even though I hate NCSoft and I wish utter failure on them. I have to balance that with the fact that I'm not wishing a negative experience on my fellow gamers. I want people to have fun with what they're doing. I wish that NCSoft would have so much financial trouble they would have to sell WildStar off to somebody else and the game can flourish and do wonderful apart from them, in which case maybe I would come play it. But as it stands now, I mean, I don't feel like at this point we've seen yet what it can do. It does appear that it is, in terms of taking oxygen out of the space of MMOs as they're launching. Man, nobody's talking about ESO anymore. People are talking about WildStar.
Yep.
For a lot of different reasons. But I don't think it's going to have a huge effect on SWTOR, especially because nothing else seems to really be on the horizon. I am a little bit nervous about, nervous isn't even the right term. I'm keeping an eye on what the MMOs that we just talked about, Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous, may do for SWTOR, but that's mostly because they're way better than Galactic Starfighter is.
Yeah.
On the flip side, if you are, like you and I, Star Wars fans, and are kind of invested in that fictional universe, then I think SWTOR will be our game for a long time.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I'll partially agree with you. I do believe that there is that in the long term, I don't think that WildStar is necessarily going to affect the overall feel of what's happening in Tor, because it ultimately Star Wars fans are Star Wars fans. They're going to stick with that. The only thing that's really going to possibly totally wipe out Tor from what it is going to be another Star Wars game, because and that'll be the only thing that I would think that would kill it. But I don't think that. I know that as far as our guild is concerned, that it did affect our guild. But the thing is, I think that most people that went over to WildStar were kind of already disenfranchised with what was happening with Tor. As far as our raid group is concerned, it hasn't changed our raid group at all, really. In fact, if anything, it's kind of grown our raid group, because and the reason being is that we've had some people that were WildStar fans that are interested in WildStar, but they also play Tor, and they're like, oh, well, hey, we'll join your raid group as well. So we have a couple of other people that are coming into our raid group because of WildStar. So I will put it this way: it did slightly affect the group finder as far as certain things are concerned, like really minor things. I mean, like it's taking a little bit longer to find groups and whatnot. But for me personally, it's not been substantial. But then again, might be a little bit skewed as far as that's concerned, because anything that I do on Group Finder is going to be with my tank, and it's almost immediately it's like an almost immediately pop anyway. I haven't been able to try the new Group Finder. Have you done the raid Group Finder at all, Kyle?
I haven't done the raid one yet.
Yep.
I probably will tonight if I don't go out with the family. I would note, however, that, you know, in a lot of the country, school is letting out right now, and
Yep.
summer is starting, and people are going on vacation. I mean, I was out for several days, you know, all last weekend, the first half of this week on vacation. So it is also possible that just kind of the summer doldrums are going to slow things down a little bit.
Very true.
It's funny that you mentioned about the Group Finder. When they upped story mode, when they upped the Group Finder operations up to 16-man.
Yep.
Apparently, that caused enough load on the servers that it was causing some significant issues with logins and area transitions. And so, as of today, even though the text for now still says 16-man, it's actually 8-man operations in Group Finder again, because that was the part of the fix.
Well,
that was the major part of the fix, actually.
There you go. Well, if you guys are interested in following Kyle, and I suggest you do, you follow him on Twitter at Techoskald. He talks about games all the time there, and just the internet in general. He's that is my account for talking about science fiction and gaming and, you know, kind of general geekery. It's not where I post any of my, you know, kind of real life types of stuff. I try to, occasionally I forget, but I try to avoid discussing politics and stuff on there as well. Yeah, so there you go. That's for science fiction gaming and science fiction in general and whatever he's doing. Follow him, Techoskald, right there. And you can also follow me at Shadow, SHADDOE. I talk about all my gaming stuff, all my journalism stuff there. In fact, I do throw some personal stuff on there as well. But if you are interested in just what's happening with gaming, go to follow Hyperspace Beacon, HS Beacon on Twitter. You can also go to www.hyperspacebeacon.com for the news and blog there, and we are on Tumblr, hyperspacebeacon.tumblr.com. You can also, if you're interested, if you like what you see here, then follow us on YouTube. You're watching this on YouTube right now because we couldn't record this live because of internet issues. But anyway, you're watching this on YouTube. Follow us there, subscribe, and if you want to support us financially, go to patreon.com/hyperspacebeacon. Thank you very much, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.